So, welcome. Hi guys, welcome to the School of Animation. It's been a while. I thought to get us started again learning animation, I could read a book that I've been wanting to read from beginning to end, and I thought, how nice would it be if I could read it with you guys? And in the process, I could teach you or show you or learn with you guys animation, like programs, do animation, walk cycles and stuff. And in here in this book, the Animator Survival Kit, which is the book that we're going to be reading together from beginning to end, there is like things that they teach you, like walk cycles, turns, and all of that, and we could do it together in programs, different programs, such as in an iPad or in a computer. And if you follow along during this YouTube series, you could learn a lot alongside. And if you have any programs that you'd like to learn or even do it in paper, you could put it in the comments or ask for it, and then we could do it together. So the first chapter that we're going to be doing together is well, they're not chapters, they're contents. It's drawing in time. I thought he would be talking about timing, but it's not. It's actually a little bit of the history of animation. So that's what we're going to get started with. So for this drawing in time, because it's intro and he talks a little bit about the history of animation, I thought I could do an intro of some of the programs that we would be using, such as iPad programs or computer programs, and just kind of go through some of the buttons or some of the utilities or tools that we use in the iPad. It's kind of like an intro, so you can get started using the programs. Well, let's talk about the first chapter. We're gonna go very quick through what he talks about in this book. Again, the book is called the Animator Survival Kit, and this is the expanded edition. I think all of them are expanded edition, and it's by Richard Williams, and he's the director of the animation Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which is huge for animators. It made a huge impact in the animation world. Yeah, I can't say this in public, but I never really liked it as much as I liked other animations. But put it in the comments if you were a fan of Who Framed Roger Rabbits. If you liked it. I didn't. But, anyways, okay, so we do drawing in time. I skipped the first one because it's not very important. I did read it, but it was like, why this book? It was the first pages, but you don't have to read it because I don't think it's very important. The book will show you like walk cycles. I think during my school years learning animation, I did graduate in animation, and I did have to do animation walk cycles. I went back to this book because this book is really good for showing you how to do animation walk cycles and other like things. So if you don't have this book, I really recommend it. So drawing in time, I mean, if you're gonna read along with me, I guess you need it. But if you don't want it, I will show you what this book talks about. So the first one is the history of animation. This chapter will be talking about it. I did take some notes. I'm sorry if you see me reading a little bit, but I will not talk like reading the book. I'm not gonna read the book. Anyways, so drawing in time, in this chapter or episode, he talks about like the Egyptians were the first ones to build columns, that like 110 columns that had I'm gonna show pictures so it's not boring. But they did show 110 columns that had for goddess Isis in progressive, and they changed positions, and that was in 1600 BC. And remember, like in Hercules, they did have pots that were also progressively changing positions. We also had in 1640 the Magic Lantern by Kircher. And then William also highlights the importance of facts of photography was in 1830. But if you know, most of the time animation is actually drawing, not photography. So that's pretty important, because today photography has nothing. I mean, obviously video is photography, moving pictures, duh. But animation, it's its own separate thing. It's like drawings, computer animation, like it's its own separate thing. And it's because back then animation was created through drawing, and it was not through. They didn't use photography. The devices that they used, which we're gonna take a look at in just a second, they were using drawings. They were actually drawing pictures to create devices that would create animation. Okay, so some of those devices are the traumatrope, here it is, and then the phenakistoscopes, I can't say them, and then the zoetrope, yep, and then the prachinoscope in 1877 by Emily Raynaud. And then this device actually had 30 feet long paper, and I believe she was the first one to create like a very drama. He says, William says that it was very dramatized story. So that was pretty cool. And then the most popular one was the flip book, which it was used for a long time during the golden age of animation to create animation. The flip book. There's still, I'm sure, little flip books. Maybe kids are still using flip books in school, hopefully. So animation still links through our childhood, hopefully. I don't know. I did flip books when I was little in school with the pages of my notebooks. Put it in the comments if you did as well. I'm sure you did. If you're watching this video, I'm sure you did. William also recaps some of the events in history that will lead up to the development of full animation features, such as the 3,000 flickering drawings by Sir James Blackton in 1896 that ended up in the some newspapers. You read the book, or hopefully you read the book, you know what I'm talking about. Or no, maybe not. Maybe you're just watching me. And then Emil Cole did an animation film. They actually didn't put the name of the film. I was reading everywhere for the name of the film, but they did not put the animation of the film. But it is this. I'll put it right here so you can see what I'm talking about. And then that was in 1897. And then the most popular one of my favorites, watching in my animation history class, it was a Winsor McCay, Little Nemo. I thought it was pretty cute, pretty out of the ordinary for that time at least, for the drawing to come out with like the guy. 1911. We're almost done, so we can take a look at like the iPad programs if that's the reason why you're watching my video. We're gonna take a look at the Animation Desk and Procreate and some other programs I'll show you. And then the Sinking of Lucy Tanian in 1918, 25,000 drawings, also by Winsor McKay. And then some of this funny animation enters in around 1920s. Felix the Cat, as popular as Charlie Chaplin, and Steamboat Willie, 1928, the first cartoon with sound, which was a big deal during that time. It was synchronized, it was unusual, actually. It was the first one. After that, I want to point out, because he mentions Yerkes, who did the skeleton dance, but he only mentions him once. But he was huge for Walt Disney's first cartoons. I think made, and if I'm saying it wrong, let me know in the comments. It's a U and B. He was huge. He did most of the work, I would say. He was like the working machine for all the Walt Disney cartoons. I would say that he did the key animation, the keyframes, and then he did. I think in school I was told that he did the keyframes and the most of the in-betweens, which is most of the work. So when they told me that, I was like, that's like everything. And what did Walt Disney do if he did the keyframes and the in-betweens? Anyways, if you know something else different than what I was told in school, put it in the comments. I think I've always wanted to have like a discussion about him and how much he contributed into the first years of Walt Disney Company. Anyways, Flowers and Trees in 1932, the first color animation. The Three Little Piggies, first one to have really good personalities. People were like amazed because these Three Little Piggies have really cool personalities. That was in 1933. And then in 1937 we have Snow White, 1 hour and 23 minutes. First one to be the first full feature film. Now, nobody thought that they could do it. Walt Disney didn't know he could do it. They didn't know people could actually sit down to watch a whole 1 hour and 23 minutes film. Their success, I've been told, is because they did storyboards. No other film, no other cartoon that was like, no other cartoon did storyboards. Like short cartoons didn't do storyboards, and the fact that they did storyboards for their feature film really made them help them structure their film so that it could be successful. And I think that was, so I've been told by my mentors, what made them very successful. So that was the film that gave the birth to the golden age, which we will see other films like Pinocchio and like other films that will be in the golden age of animation. He also mentions Tex Avery, Walter Lantz, some of the things that they did right here, up here. And then in the 1950s, we also see UPA Studios, which is Mr. Magoo. And one of the things that it was special about them is that they kind of took a little bit of their own way on making animation. They made them a little bit less natural, flowy, more robotic and quicker, and that helped them to do it quicker. And by doing it quicker, they were able to do more, but it was less natural and less, they followed less of the principles of animation. And yeah, I think you could see some of these examples on like some of the see a lot of video games that do quick animation that doesn't follow the principles of animation. And if you don't know the principles of animation, I think I should do a video of, I started doing videos of the principles of animations, but I didn't finish them because they weren't very popular. But the principles of animations are like squash and stretch and arcs and that really help the flow of movement and will help the animation be really natural and really make it natural. And yeah, I don't know how to explain it. It's just, no matter how you animate, if you follow the principles of animation, your animation will look like a real person moving. Like, for example, your arm will always have an arc, right? So there's, you know, like if you do an arm with an arc, it will always look like a real arm moving, you know. Or like slow in, slow out. An arm will always start slow, moving slow in and then slow out. And yeah, I mean, I think you just have to study those principles of animation. I'm sure that the principles of animation will be here, so we're gonna be taking a look at those in here. So I can assure you that they will be here. So anyways, that is it for what was in that chapter. Those are my notes. So now we're gonna take a look at the programs that I promised that we will be taking a look at. So stay tuned for the programs in the iPad. And yeah, I'm not gonna do paper because paper is paper, but later, maybe during this some of these chapters or sections, we will do paper animation, so we can use the down shooter and dragon frame. So we can do that dragon frame if you want to use dragon frame for down shooting. And yeah, stay tuned. Yeah. So here we are. We're gonna take a look at some of the applications that I would use for animation, at least some of the popular ones, but just some of the basic buttons. So the first one that we're going to be taking a look at is this one right here. It's called FlippaClip. It is not entirely free. I believe that you can use the free version, which will give you a few it will give you a few frames, but not unlimited frames. And I think if you want to animate, you want to have unlimited frames, just so that you don't run out of frames and you can do a full animation. But you can purchase the full version for, if I am not wrong, is $29 per year, which is not bad, and fully recommended. And yeah, so I do have the full version over here. So to go home, so this is a home. I have created a few tests over here. There comes with a few demos over here that you can play with. And to start creating your first animation, you click on this plus button over here. To look at all of your movies, you click on this movies, which I don't have any right now. This is like I've just set up my device for the first time, so I don't have any. I'm using another device. And I'm gonna create a new version, a new one over here. It'll ask you to put the name of the animation over here, so I'm gonna put just demo, which I think there's already one called demo, and I'm gonna say done. And over here you can say canvas size, which I always like to do 1080p, but it will tell you like you don't want to do 1080p because it's gonna make it slower and all that. It's fine if it'll make it slower. You do want to do at least 1080p. You can do 2K, which is better. And let's go back. See, so that's a little message that says that's gonna slow down your performance. And then this is important. It says you want to do 12 frames per second. So in animation, it is 24 frames per second. So when you do 24 frames per second, you do twos. I'm gonna explain this. You do twos, which means each drawing you want to hold it once. You want to repeat it once, right? If you do 12 frames per second, that means your drawing, you don't want to hold it at all, because you're already doing 12 frames per second. But if you do 24 frames per second, then you want to hold your drawing once, right? You want to repeat your drawing once, which would be the same as doing 12 frames per second and not holding your drawing at all. So that's just a little bit of an explanation. Now, why would you want to do 24 frames per second instead of 12 frames per second if it's the same thing as doing 12 frames per second and not holding your drawing at all? Well, the reason why is because sometimes you want to do once, which means doing 24 frames per second and not holding your drawing once at all, putting more information on a 24 frames per second. I hope I'm explaining this. This is a lot of information. So you want to hold it, but sometimes you want to do a little bit more information, in which, like, for example, there's more action, for example, and then you want to do a little bit more drawings because there's more action happening or something like that. So you want to do 24 frames per second. So just in case, if there's more action happening, actually it would be the opposite. It would be if it's less action, it's a little bit slower, then you want to do more information, you want to put in more information. If there is more action happening, you usually want to put less information because it's quicker. Yeah, so there we go. Hopefully that makes sense. If you do want more explanation on that, put it in the comments and I'll explain that in more in depth. Okay, so you create the project. You can I can save it, add a different color background, add an image, or take a picture. I think that's what that is. Okay, there we go. So very simple. Very simple. So this is your brush, eraser, lasso tool, bucket tool, and then text size. Very self-explanatory. You have your ruler. This one right here, what is this? I'm not really sure what this is. Oh, this is, I believe this is like paste and copy, go back, forward. This is forward, and then this is share, and this is more options, in which you have project settings, which it takes you back to the settings that we were at. This will take you to the frame viewer, so you can see all the frames, which we're gonna take a look at your frames over here. And the reason why I'm going fast is because I am going to go back into animating in these programs and other chapters of this book, and then two, I'm going to go into other programs, so I want to go fast so you can take a look at other programs as well. And then but you can ask questions in the comments, and then we can go over this in other videos. And then we also have onion, which is very important. You can go into edit for onion skin, and then add color. I love adding color, you know, having the colors color coded for forward and back is very important for me. So loop is for you to be able to correct me if I'm wrong, you can put it in the comments, but so it actually loops I thought it was for it to loop within the when you play it forward. I thought that's what that was, but I wasn't really sure because it doesn't really do anything when I press play or something, so couldn't really figure that one out. Frames before, you can see how that changes, how many pages, how many frames or pages, frames will actually affect it, and then frames after. So these settings are very important. I usually like as many as possible. Well, not as many as possible, but at least 5 is a good number for me. And then you can turn onion skin here on and off, which sometimes I do. Grid, you know, if you need grid, that's very important as well. Sometimes you need the meticulous, like eyes and stuff like that. So you can turn the grid off and on there. Magic Cut, they have a slide or a little video over here to explain Magic Cut over here. What it does, it pretty much is able to like put in whatever you like cut or got from another frame, and then put it right where you put it on another frame, is what I understood. I don't necessarily use that because I like to naturally draw. I think it definitely uses, or gives it a little bit more flow into the drawing, so I don't use those features. Let me know if that's something that you would take advantage of in the comments. And then you can add image, add videos, and then that's it. Over here you can add frames, obviously, add music over here, play, go back, and then over here, of course, very important, you can add layers. So for characters, background, and all of that. You can add opacity, take it off for when you don't need it. You don't need to see it, things like that. Let's see. I think that's pretty much it. There really isn't that many tools that you really need to animate, besides having a paper and sketchbook and having the tools that you really need to sketch. So yeah, I'm really excited to get to the this one, Procreate. Oh, I was trying it earlier. This one, they added the animation, and I'm really excited to get to that one. So but before we get to that one, I will go into Animation Desk. So I used Animation Desk. I used to teach this one, and yeah, this is one that I like because it makes it look like a really cool animation desk. So I like this one. But yeah, and it also has cool brushes. So this one is Animation Desk, and it's this one's really cool too. We have this is the main screen where it all starts. This is home, pretty much. We also have sequence. So sequence is going to be kind of like where animations are. We also have storyboards, because you can also create storyboards here, not just animations. And then Kate and Cloud, which is I believe it's kind of like their cloud service, if I'm not wrong. If I am wrong, put it in the comments. I haven't really used this feature here. And here you have in the home button, you can create like new by just clicking on this plus button. It'll ask you, here is gonna ask you if you want to create a new sequence, so like an animation or a storyboard, since you do have the ability to create either of those. You can also add like a picture or files, so you are able to add either of those as well. So for this demo, we're just gonna do the sequence. So we're gonna do that, and then it's gonna ask you to add the animation name. We're just gonna do demo. Over here, I always do in 1080p. Always. You can do other like Instagram 720 1080p for TikTok. So that's like, I believe, like portrait mode. And yeah, so we can do, and then once you have the resolution done, you hit done, and then you create how many frames per second. I did explain like the 24 frames per second versus 12. I always do 24 frames per second. You always want to do 24 frames per second, unless you want to do 30, but 24 for drawing is pretty standard. So we'll do start. And as I mentioned earlier, I love this desk and the lamp. So go ahead and do that. You can pinch, move it around, rotate it, and all that. Okay, so we're gonna start up here. You have the selection tool. You also have the text tool. Your brushes. You have pencil, gray brushes. You have the pen, the brush. You also have a marker, and then just working with touch. And you also have the eraser, the bucket tool, these are the colors, which will allow you to add your own palette over here. You can do by slider or create your own palette, which I have nothing, but you can create your own. I just work with the wheel when I'm working with it, and I don't know, let's see how to create. I think I should show you how to add. Oh, let's see. There we go. Duh. Yeah, so you just hit that little guy to add the colors. There we go. Yeah. And I think to create, yeah. So to create a new palette, you just add that new palette button. Jeez. There we go. So to create the new palette, you add that one. To create the new color, you add that one, and then the eyedropper is that one. So that's that. And then so you can create more layers. So you can create more layers, and once you click on any layer, you can rename it. You can clear the frame if you need to redo anything, or delete the layer completely. You can also adjust the opacity of the layer, and if you need to hide it, you can click on that eye right there. Alright, and then over here you have more stuff, such as like insert from files, insert pictures. You have more settings that will allow you to, this is important, these are the settings for the actual page. The name of the sequence, the canvas size, all of that can be added or adjusted later on. But most importantly, this is the onion skin. So the onion skin over here is this lamp over here. You can turn it on and off, or by just clicking that lamp button. But you can also adjust the opacity. That's gonna let you know how much you see, how many pages you see. So you can adjust it right there. You can tell it if you want it color coded, or just black and white. And then you can also see, tell it if you want the drawings to be on top or at the bottom. I always choose it to be at the bottom. And then the grid, of course, is important. So you can have a grid, have how many grid squares you want, and then the brightness of it. So I always have something like that. And then last but not least is the stylus. This will take you to the settings of your iPad. So there it is. And then hit done. Then you have all the frames. So this is gonna show you all the frames. I currently just have one, so that's why I chose just one. And then here is how you take on and off the grid. Just a quick button. You also have rulers, and then onion skin on and off. Then over here you have how to add more frames. Over here you also have a play button, just forward, back. You also have over here how to hide the frames just to get more space. You can do that. And then how to add sound. Pretty self-explanatory. Back and forward, opacity of the pencil, and then the size of the pencil, just right there. So that was Animation Desk. Also pretty cool. I kind of like the layout better on this application rather than the other one. I also think it has more brushes. Tell me in the comments which one you like more after you play with it. And now we're gonna play with Procreate, this one. So yeah, let's go to gallery. We're gonna create a new one. We're gonna do screen size. And we are going to go to settings. And in Procreate, you're going to go to canvas. And you're going to do animation assist. Now in animation assist, I'm not sure if you've played with Procreate. Not sure if I'm gonna go over all the settings in Procreate. I don't think I'm gonna go over all the settings just because there's a ton of things you can do in Procreate, and I'm really just gonna focus on just the animation, kind of like all the buttons that we saw on the other side, but here in Procreate. So we have the colors over here. The colors is this one right here. If you hold on any color over here is the eyedropper. And then we have here the layers. You can create new layers. If you hold on the layers, you can have more options. Over here you have the eraser. The eraser, well, this is the brush library because I clicked on the eraser, but you can do the same thing with the brush. And here are your brushes. Let's see, so that's your brushes. Cool thing about doing animation in here is that the brushes are just amazing. I just love the brushes. Yeah, I think it would be, yeah, just there's just a lot of brushes. But anyways, so once I have brushes, the brush, I have here the size, I have the opacity. Now once I go to the canvas and animation assist, I get here, down here, the ability to add frames. So I can add frames and then I can play it. So I can go here to settings and I can do, now loop is that it's just going to go from the first to the last and it's gonna loop it. Ping pong is it's gonna go to the first and last and then back to the first, back and forth, like a ping pong. And then one shot is just gonna stop at the end. Now in animation, in the other programs you saw, it's always gonna do loops, so you want to leave it at loop because that's just how animation works. I don't know why they added that. I'm sure they just want to add more options, but in animation they just do loop. Now they do frames per second. You want to do at 24. And then onion skin, how many frames? I do 5. And then onion opacity, you can do, you know, onion opacity. And then blend primary frame, you can do yes or no, like the primary frame, do you want to blend it with the rest? I'm guessing that means like make a transition to the other ones. I don't think the other programs do that, so I wouldn't do it, but it's an effect, so if you want to give it a try, you can turn that on. And then onion skin colors, you can actually choose the colors that usually you do blue and red. You can choose whatever colors you want, and then that's it. So yeah, I don't know if you wanted to give it a try. I haven't even given it a try. Okay, let's try it again. There we go. Anyways, so that is that. For Procreate. Alright everyone, we've come to the end of this video. I'm not gonna do the Paint TV, unfortunately. I had a little bit of technical difficulties with my software, and hopefully I'll figure it out and get it all straightened out, because I really love TV Paint, and I'm really looking forward to doing some TV Paint with you guys in the next chapters of this book. We can get together and use TV Paint. I really love TV Paint, and animating TV Paint is one of the best things ever. So let's look forward to some of that, and stick around to some of the next chapters. I'll release some of more videos like this one in the next Fridays. And so hit the subscribe button and the bell so you can get notifications. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!